Hey guys, Jester here, and I'm back telling you about my adventure in New Eden. This is episode 6 of my Eve story. So, we left off in the last episode with us moving to Latari and becoming a more industry-focused corporation. And things were going good. They was going really good for a while. We was getting plenty of new members, the IS was coming in nicely due to tax on missions, we had buyback schemes for ore and salvage and whatever else we needed for manufacturing. But we wasn't really manufacturing anything. We was just selling the ore on the market. So what I decided to do was I took my old councillor and I ran missions for the local faction. The reason I did this was because back in the day there was no player-owned stations. We did have the pass system, but to get the best refining in an NPC station you had to have really good standings with them. So I spent so long running missions. I can't remember what the faction was, but because Councillor wasn't trained for combat, I just ran level 2s over and over and over until I got what I needed to get perfect reprocessing. So yeah, after a few months of running the missions, I finally got the standing I needed to get the reprocessing as high as I could. And by this time, I also had my Orca to close to perfect skills. So everybody in the Corp was getting great boosts for their mining. And I was also training for the freighter. I wanted to have a Providence so that I could move everything around. So we had the minerals coming in. We had great mining boosts, so the next thing we needed was blueprints. So off to Jita I went. I bought a few. There was ammo, drones, a few smaller ships. I bought the blueprint originals that had already been researched off of contracts. I made a few copies for some of our members, but mostly they was used for manufacturing so that I could hand all the stuff over to JP, because I've never been the biggest fan, probably because I'm not very good at it, but I've never been the biggest fan at market PvP. Like I'm not the biggest fan of like the whole trade and point one undercutting and stuff like that. It's not really my thing, but JP seemed to be willing to give it a go, so I flew all the stuff up there, he put it all on the market for me. So yeah, things was going good, but boy was it boring. So now we had some extra income, I started buying PvP ships so that I could hand them out to my corp members, people that wanted to do PvP, and we could go to Lowsec and look for some fights. Now the one I remember the most was we was in Lowsec and 3 ships walked to the gate that we were sitting on. And I can't remember what ships they were. We had about, I think that was about 15 of us. So we was, 15 versus 3, why not? So I said to everyone, right, engage. I picked a target, no idea what I was doing. We started shooting at them, and then they opened a Black Ops Sino. We had no idea what this was. Then all of a sudden there was, around 50 ships on top of us, and we stood our ground. Because, I don't think we could have got away if we never tried, but the panic had set in and we stood our ground. I don't think we killed a single ship. Of course, we lost everything. But it was fun. We learned, something new. Sinos are dangerous. What ships can fit them. We had to look it up. But yeah, that was it was a very interesting roam into Lowsec. But it didn't deter us. We still did our weekly roams. Sometimes we'd just set up a gate camp if there wasn't a lot of us, or if we didn't really know where we was going. We didn't really put scouts out and stuff. So yeah, we'd just sit on the gate, hope to get some fights. Every now and again we'd get poked by some sniping hurricanes and we'd jump through and run away with our tail between our legs and go back to mining. But at least we was getting out there and doing something different, because boy is being an industrial corp boring as hell. So as we got more people, we started going out a lot more, 3 times a week maybe, and we would go into Null. We started to hang out in Fountain Space, and at that time, Test Alliance, please ignore, lived in Fountain. This is before the Great Fountain War, so... and yeah, we would go up there, and you know, we started learning new things like drag bubbles and stuff like that, which is interesting. And of course, there's no gate guns up there, and you don't lose security status for shooting at people in Null. So we'd go and we'd pick fights with them, and of course we'd get steamrolled because we're just unexperienced industrialists against a nullsec alliance. But we didn't care. All the players, all of our members, their ships were given to them for free by the Corp, and we was basically making them with the profit. So, and of course, I was FCing, if you could call it that, my terrible attempt to do it. I had no idea about doctrines. We didn't have any logi. We knew about logi. We didn't realise how important logi was to a fleet fight. So, yeah, but we didn't mind losing ships because it's fun, just going out, trying your hand at PvP, especially if you had to spend all the time mining and manufacturing. Like, okay, some people do enjoy that. That's their way to play the game, but for me, it wasn't. Like, it's so boring. The money may be okay. I get to fly ships that I've created, which is quite cool, but yeah, I needed to go and shoot things, and missions weren't doing it for me. I ran missions until I couldn't run them anymore. Like, I literally knew every mission by heart back then. That's how many I did, mainly because, one, I had to do it for my reprocessing, but before then I was also running missions with JP when we was trying to be a mercenary corp and failing. So yeah, I needed to get out there and shoot some real players and get shot and blow up and have fun, have a few drinks with friends and be on comms, and you know, that's what kept me playing the game. So at this point we were starting to get ourselves a little bit noticed. We was going into Fountain, you know, twice a week at least. Yeah, we wasn't doing much damage to them, but we was giving them content, we was having fun. And then one night I log in and my mailbox is flashing. So I click on it and it's a message from someone that I've never spoken to, in an alliance that I've never heard of. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to my ramblings of my life in New Eden. I've had many messages asking me when I'm going to continue this series, so I think it's been over a year now since I started doing these. So here you go. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you could tell, but I am actually quite sick at the moment. Of course, when I decide I want to start making YouTube videos, I get the flu for some reason. It's just how it works, I guess. But yeah, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you want to get notified when our next episode goes live. And I will try and do this at least once a week. But life gets in the way sometimes. But it's definitely good to be back. And I'll see you all next time.